Okay, and after 3 days and a half, this is the time we're living in right now, the 350 years of slavery that Jake went through. Okay, this is the time we're living in right now. After 3 days and a half, the spirit of the Most High entered into them, and that was coming by way of what was said within the book of Isaiah, the 58th chapter. Okay, cry aloud, spare not, lift up your voice like a trumpet, tell my people their iniquity. Now, how was that going to happen? You wasn't going to do that. Okay, for the most part, you weren't going to do that. You could do that, but you ain't really going to do that out there, you know, sitting on the comforts of your house, okay, with a laptop and you're scoffing on the comment board. That's not pushing the word, bro. Okay, pushing the word meaning you was going to come out here and you was actually going to push the word. You're going to tell the people. That's what the scripture says. It said tell the people, man. Okay, you was going to go out here and you was going to be out here raw. Okay, unprotected, but really protected through the angels and the particular spirits that the Most High was going to put upon you to protect you. Okay, so it says there, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of the Most High entered into them. Okay, and they stood upon their feet. They stood upon their feet. Okay, and great fear fell upon them which saw. So when these different nations, okay, whether it be Moab, whether it may be Ammon, okay, but especially Edom, okay, when they was going to see the uplifting of the people, the real people of the Lord, they was going to feel some type of way about it, man. And this is the times that we're getting into now, the time of Jacob's trouble, okay, where Esau is trying to stop this truth from going out there. All right, so going back onto the book of Isaiah, the 58th chapter, on the first verse, it says, cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, which is what we are instructed to do, lifting up your voice like a trumpet. You're lifting up your voice, okay, by scoffing on the comment board. That's what that scripture was talking about, okay? The scriptures speak about, when you check out the history, and you check out how the prophets were, and they was out there, and their voices was like the voices of the water, of the rushing waters, man. Okay, you are, if you go to the sea and you hear the waters, man, the sea is powerful. So when a man's voice is likened unto the sea roaring, and you see that's how you're supposed to be, you wasn't gonna do that from the confines of your household, okay, behind the screen, okay, scoffing. You was gonna do that by going out there and following what the scripture says, going in the midst of Jacob, okay, teaching Jacob, okay. It says here, okay, I'm gonna read this. It says, and show my people their transgression in the house of Jacob their sin. So that's what you gotta do, man. So pretty much with that, let me go into this this lesson that I have prepared, okay, on 3 topics that I wanted to get into today. Knows will I get through them, you know. Okay, so now you go so number 1, okay, which I want to get into. You got this thing out here, this notion, and I suppose it ties in with the that's the spirit, because really it ties in with what we just went into, okay? Because when you go out there and you tell Jake they're gonna have a particular standard, one of the main things that you hear the Negros, Hispanics, Native Americans responding is how that, you know, only the Most High can judge, okay? Now, what I'm gonna show you within the scriptures, okay, is that not only was it gonna be the men of the Lord, okay, that was gonna judge you, okay, but rather if you don't turn from the judgment, the particular judgment that they come upon you. So if a particular prophet tells you you're wicked, you ain't supposed to be doing the same things that you're supposed to be doing, the Most High is gonna spew you out, okay? You was gonna be cast out of the camp, and that's gonna be. I'll show you that within the book of Proverbs, the 1st chapter. But first and foremost, if I could get this particular precept out here, dealing with the spiritual man, and how the spiritual man judges all things. When you check out the scriptures, the different prophets that you had out there, they was like the judges. Really, when you go into the time of the judges, okay, they was doing particular judgments, man. When the Lord Yahushua was on the scene, he was doing particular judgments. When the different prophets were out here, they was doing particular judgments. Okay, when Ananias and Sapphira had kept the money back, what was the judgment that came upon them? They was put to death by who? By one of the prophets. Okay, by one of the disciples of Yahushua, okay, that was on the scene. Okay, so that whole notion, that whole thing of only the Most High can judge, well, guess what? The Most High has also got it to where he's men that are on the earth that do the bidding for the Most High, because the Most High is a top guy. You know, he don't have to lift the finger. He's got people that will do that for him. Like, you're a top general within the army, you know, you got instructions that you're going to push out there that's going to be carried out. Okay, that's the Most High. He said, look, make the earth. And the spirits came down and they made the earth. Okay? So he's going to have it to where what? Different people going to be walking around, going through their so-called day-to-day lives. They're going to encounter the prophets of the Lord, and judgments was going to go out there. And it was going to cut them. But that whole notion that only the Most High can judge you, you're going to find out that if you don't turn at the reproof of the Most High, okay, the reproof of the men of the Lord, okay, they're going to be the ones that's going to be laughing at you if you don't turn at the reproof of the men of the Lord. Okay? Bear with me. Okay, so this is the 1 Corinthians 2 and 15. It says, but he that is spiritual, let's go from 14. Okay, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the spirit. Okay, so what's a spiritual thing? Okay, reincarnation. That's the thing you gotta understand in the spirit. Okay, what's another thing that's spiritual? The thing of the prophets and how the prophets were set up from days. Okay, and that ties in with the reincarnation and how that the prophets was gonna be out here and they was gonna get on you for going off, pretty much. Okay, that's the thing you gotta understand in the spirit. So it says, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the spirit, okay, of the Most High, for they say they are foolishness unto him, because they want to get into the sciences, they want to get into they want to be liberated, they want to do whatever they want to do, man. And that's the mentality of Jake right now, okay? They're in do what thou wilt state of mind, which that's a philosophy that goes back onto what? That goes back onto the different so-called Illuminati families, that they push that onto the people to be rebellious. And the scripture talks about rebellion. The scripture says that the scripture basically says that rebellion is as a sin of witchcraft. Okay, let me get a precept. Rebellion. Okay, and the most rebellious people you're gonna find upon the face of the earth, other than Esau, is Jacob. Okay, they're the ones you teach them to do certain things. In fact, the scripture says that if the Most High sent the prophets unto a different nation, they was going to turn unto Yahweh Shem Yahshua and worship. But because He has sent us unto a hard-headed nation, okay, unto a people that's messed up within the head, okay, they was going to respond in a particular way. That's why the Most High said He was going to make our faces hard against these people, hard against our people. And what's going to be the ultimate end-all be-all for the people that don't turn and reproof for the Most High? The Most High is going to destroy it. Okay, so let me get this quick precept right here. Okay. Let me see this one. This is Ezekiel 3 and 27. It says, when I speak with thee, I will open thy mouth. In fact, let's go to the whole thing. Let's go to the whole thing. Okay, so it says, but I'll speak with thee and I'll open thy mouth. Now, this is Ezekiel 3 and 27. I'll speak with thee. Okay, I'll open thy mouth. And thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord, okay, that heareth, okay, let him and he that forbeareth, let him forbear, for they are a rebellious house. Okay, Jake is all kinds of rebellious. Okay, they're all kinds of they, you know, you show them the way, and you show them the benefits of the diet that the Most High has put forth for them. They ain't gonna get into it. Okay, they ain't gonna be all up into the, you know, you might have certain guys that get all up into it, but I'm talking about in a spiritual sense. Because ultimately, when you go into the scriptures, you find out the scriptures set it up, the Most High set it up, okay, how that this was gonna be only for the elect. Okay, only the elect was gonna understand the scriptures and get into the elect. That's within the book of Romans 11 and 7. Okay, Romans, the 11th chapter. Romans 11 and 7, it says, what then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, No, let's start from the top. Okay, Romans 11:1, it says, I said then, how the Most High cast away his people. Because when we went out there, when we was reading within the book of Revelations 11th chapter and the 8th verse, what was we reading about? We was reading about Jacob, okay, the Israelites, okay, basically being like a dead nation, being in a dead state, okay? They want, they wasn't, the prolific, you might look at Jake and he's a prolific athlete or something like that, okay, but he's got all kind of tattoos, okay, the words that come out of his mouth are bugged out. But when you really check out when Jake was prominent, when they was doing it, you can see that the Most High was dealing with us, okay? So going back onto these scriptures, you might, when these different heathen nations, they're thinking the Most High has cast away his people, man. These ain't the people of the Most High. This ain't the glory and the praise of the earth. They're looking at Esau like he's the glory and the praise on the earth. Because he's sending out their chariots into the skies. He's erecting buildings taller than anyone has ever built it, man. He's creating weapons that nobody could ever think about. So they're on the highest level that man has ever been on. But guess what? The Most High was still going to raise his people to surpass that. Okay? Romans 11:1, it says, I say then, hath the Most High cast away his people, the Most High forbid. So they are out there scattered amidst the different heathen nations to the end that what? The book of Hosea, the first chapter, was going to be fulfilled. How did the Most High did what? The Most High had it to where he cast away his people, okay, but it was going to be as the sand of the sea, okay? But in the end times, when it was going to be said unto them, they're not the people of the Most High. Like right now, you say you're the Israelites, they say, hold on a minute, you ain't Jewish. That's how they see it within their mind. But the reality of the situation, according to the lineage, according to the seed of David, I am an Israelite. I am an Israelite. And you go into where what? You go other Jakes that are out there, okay, they might call themselves Nigerian, Ghanaian, or whatever. Okay, they might call them Italian, Sicilian. But they're really the descendants of Jacob, man. So that was what? That was all going according to prophecy, because the scripture says that what? In the place where it said unto you are not the people of the Most High, there was going to be said unto you that ye are the people of the Most High. So the scripture here is validated in that it says that what? Right? For I am also of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. This is Paul speaking. The Most High hath not cast away his people, which he foreknew, okay? And it says, "What ye not that what the scripture saith, how as Elias maketh intercession for to the Most High, okay, for Israel, saying, the Lord, they have killed thy prophets." Because, like I said, Jake is rebellious. Okay, and that ties in, that particular precept ties in with this segment of the sermon, how that Jake, the Israelites, okay, you Negros, Hispanics, Native Americans, okay, you gotta get out of the mindset of the Most High ain't gonna send prophets to basically look into your life and tell you everything that you're doing in your life is way off. Okay, the Most High was gonna do that. In fact, when you go into the scriptures, that's exactly how he was gonna do it. He said that thy prophets, thy teachers weren't gonna be removed into a corner anymore. You was gonna see your teachers. Okay, and when you go into a classroom, the teacher don't pat you on the back for doing the work incorrectly. Okay, he gets on your ass for doing the work incorrectly. Okay, in fact, when you check out the great masters within the Kung Fu and all of these different kind of martial arts, what were those great teachers known for? They was known for patronizing their students, and that's what you was going to get from the men of the Lord. That goes into the book of Isaiah, the 28th chapter, on the 9th verse. How the scripture says that what? Whom shall he teach knowledge? Whom shall he make to understand the doctrine of the truth? And it says, them that are weaned from the breast and drawn from the milk, okay, with stammering lips. What's the stammering lips talking about? Meaning, say, we was going to get into your life, and we're going to make fun of you, man. We're going to make laughter off of you. But ultimately, if you turn at the rebuke for the Most High, you're going to see within the scriptures, you're going to be all right, man. The Most High was going to sup with you. Okay, he was going to open you out onto the fountain of living waters to the end that what? You was going to be made alive, man. Okay, you was going to have it to where you was going to be flowing with ideas and passions, and you was going to be driven, you was going to be living. Okay, that's within the book of St. John 6:63. Okay, is the word that cooketh, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that come out of these scriptures, the words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. Okay, Romans 11 and 3. Okay, Lord, they have killed thy prophets, they and dig down their altars. Okay, and I am left alone. But what saith the Most High? I have reserved unto myself 7,000 who have not bowed the knee to Baal. And that's who really ultimately that we're looking for. Looking for. Because here it is, I'm talking about Jake being rebellious. I'm talking about Jake being destroyed for their rebellion. But ultimately, that was set up from the foundations of the earth. That's within the book of Isaiah, the 6th chapter and the 9th verse. Okay? Which I can get in a second. All right? That was set up from the book of Isaiah. How they was going to see the prophets. They wasn't going to turn from their wicked ways. They wasn't going to turn from their wicked deeds to the ultimate end that the scripture says that what? How long was this curse going to last upon them? And the scripture says that what? Till the cities be laid waste. Meaning to say they was going to have to be reborn in the reincarnation. And that's when they was going to be doing right. Okay? So going back onto the book of Romans, the 11th chapter. Romans 11. And this is the 5th verse. And even also, this is the 4th verse. It says, what say the Most High unto him? He says, I have reserved unto myself 7,000 who have not bowed the knee to Baal. This is what we're talking about right now, because the Most High is really reserved an elect. Okay, really, when you're coming out here to curse out Jake, really, you're just out here to look for the elect. Okay? That's the ultimate end-all be-all, and once the elect is sealed, according to the book of Revelations, once the elect is sealed, that's when the Most High was going to rain terror upon this place. Okay, the scripture says that how the Most High held off the 4 angels at the 4 corners of the earth from destroying the earth until the elect be sealed. But when the elect is sealed, there's no need for the Most High to hold those angels at the 4 corners of the earth that are not bringing down judgment upon this place. The Most High is going to let them loose. And they was going to do what? They was going to do work. They was going to do hurt. They was going to have it to where trees was going to be burnt down. And the scripture says that what? Was the Most High angry with the trees that he rained down so much destruction upon this place? Okay? There was going to be no other brick upon the earth to the end that what? When Yahushua was on the scene, what he said will be fully manifested. Because when Yahushua was on the scene, what did he say? He said, he said, oh, you know, they were saying, they was looking at the temple, and they were saying, look at this great marvel in architecture. And the Lord said unto them, look, there's going to come a day when you ain't going to see brick upon brick, because Esau is going to bring forth an instrument, okay, according to the book of Isaiah, the 54th chapter, he's going to bring forth an instrument, okay, the waster, to destroy, and that waster was going to do the destruction. But guess what? The elect was going to be delivered out of. Okay? So you go there to where you got Jake, they're talking about not judging them. Well, guess what? They're going to be judged. Okay? And the very judgment of the prophets is going, the same men that they're saying not to judge them, the judgment of the prophets is going to put upon them, which is the destruction by way of the ICBM nuclear missile, the hunger, the famine, okay, the different diseases that Esau's going to unleash out here. It's going to be the same things that's going to destroy them, man. Okay? So the book of, where are we? Romans 11. In fact, it says, even so then, at this present time also there is a remnant according to election. So that out here, really the objective is to push this word out to the elect. Okay, we say, oh, you're going to curse out Jacob. Of course you're going to curse out Jacob, because you're going to tell these people, you're going to tell Esau about his future. That's part of the instruction. So that the Most High's name could be glorified when the judgment comes about. How he, through the foolishness of preaching and teaching, was able to bring about salvation unto the remnant and judgment unto the wicked. Okay? It says, so now even at this present time, they remaineth according to this present time there is a remnant according to election of grace, and if by grace, then it is no more of works. Because you get certain cats that, you know, okay, let me remember a whole bunch of scriptures, okay, and then go out there and just cut people. Or just go out there and, you know, 17 videos of which you're supposed to be doing your videos. You're supposed to be doing a high quantity of videos. But those videos ain't going to save you. Okay? You're going to have guys that's going to get saved in a lot of times. All right? But you're supposed to be still pushing your word. Because scripture says, making your call, scripture's slipping me right now. Okay? It says to make the calling of your election sure, roughly paraphrasing. So you're supposed to be doing due diligence to make, but see, guess what? It's not of works, it's of the mercy. So you can do all that work, but guess what? The Most High can still do away with you, because that's that. And why did the Most High set it up like that? So you was gonna be humble, man. Because you could have a guy that remembers all kind of scriptures and do all kind of work. The way Jake is out here, they'll start deifying that particular individual to the point where you ain't even think about the Most High. You thinking that person's gonna save you. That's not how the Most High set it up. Okay, the scripture talks about how the Most High is a jealous power. You have a woman and she's all up into another dude. Man, you're gonna be looking at that woman sideways. Like, look, I might have to get rid of her. The Most High is the same way. Okay, he's a power unto a particular nation. Okay, if they start deifying a particular individual within their nation, he's gonna feel some type of way about that, because he is the deliverer. He is the one that sends the events, puts the things in motion to where you're going to be delivered, whether it was going to be from the Assyrian Empire when they came against Jerusalem, whether it was going to be Esau when he's coming up against us now. Okay, it's the Most High that was going to put it within, whether it's within a particular individual to make a decision that's going to lead on to salvation, or whether he's going to send his son, okay, via the chariots to give out salvation unto the people. It was still the Most High that was going to be accredited for that. Okay, so it says Romans 11 and Romans 11 and 6. It says, if it's by grace, then it is no more of works. Otherwise, grace is no more grace. For if it be of works, then it is no more grace. Otherwise, work is more work. Okay, this is the point. Romans 11 and 7, it says, what then? Israel hath not obtained that which is seeketh for, because what do they ultimately seek? Okay, you go to the book of Romans 10 and 1, I believe it is. It says they have a zeal for the Most High, but not according to knowledge. So they have a zeal, so they have a fire, a passion toward the scriptures. They have an affinity towards spirituality. But when it's not according to knowledge, what's going to happen? It's going to lead on to destruction. So they have an affinity for spirituality, and they express it into Hinduism. Guess what? They was going to be destroyed. They have an affinity, a zeal to be into the scriptures, and they express that zeal and affinity towards to be in the scriptures through the Christian church. Guess what? That was going to lead on to death. But if they was going to express that zeal and that passion toward the truth, according to the way that is taught at Great Millstone, and ultimately the doctrine of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, well, guess what? When that is expressed, okay, when that was going to be expressed like that, you was going to find out what? That the Most High was going to have mercy on those people, man. Okay? That's dealing with the elect, because the elect is the only ones upon the face of the earth that are going to express that zeal to the Most High according to knowledge. Okay? Romans 11 and 7, it says, what then? Israel hath not obtained that which is seeketh for, which is the truth. Okay? But the election hath obtained it. Okay? And the rest were blinded. Okay? As it is written, according as it is written, the Most High has given a spirit of slumber, of which a spirit of slumber is a spirit to be asleep. So Jake is in a sleeping, they're dead already, but they're sleepwalking right now.